Most welcome my dear students in the class 12th of English. Dear students, today I am Rashmi, lecturer AD Government Consider College Gorakhpur, and I am going to teach you prose. Today we will study the first part of lesson 1 and the name of the lesson is A Girl with a Basket by William C. Douglas. Dear students, you must have curiosity to know about this lesson, A Girl with a Basket. Who is this girl? Before I start the chapter, I must tell you certain things. Dear students, we have 3 stages in our life. First, childhood, then youth, and after that, old age comes. I must tell you, the childhood is the stage where we have the immense enthusiasm, excitement and energy. It is the age when we get the most creative. Here, if we talk about this girl is 9 years old. Dear children, what do you expect out a girl with 9 years old? What do you think about that? You may imagine that she would be very creative, she would be energetic, she may be naughty. But here the girl which I am going to discuss, she is quite serious and she shows the sense of self-respect and pride that the author got impressed. How does it happen? We will show in this lesson. So let's begin. Before we start, first of all, we will look at the objectives of this lesson. First, to inculcate the feeling of self-respect. Just I have discussed to you that this lesson especially projects to this point that it talks about self-respect. So here we will see that how that girl, she is 9 years old, and how does she represent this sense of feeling self-respect. Second, to be aware of the after effects of the partition. When we study the paragraphs, we find that this chapter especially talks about the partition and the after effects of the partition which took place in year 1947. Third, to understand the passage and grasp its meaning. This is quite important. As we read the paragraph, we have certain words, and if we don't understand the meaning of entire paragraph, it goes all in vain. So here we will try to understand the content of the paragraph. In this way, we will be having a better understanding of the lesson. Fourth, to know the meaning of difficult words. We read any paragraph, we find certain difficult words, and here those difficult words will be clear to you. Fifth, to speak with proper stress and intonation. Dear students, from today we are going to study prose. I must tell you that prose is a very simple form of literature without any metrical representation. So it's quite easy in comparison to the poetry, and it delivers the message. You can say that it's a daily language. So here we have to learn that how can we read the paragraph with proper stress wherever it is needed, and the rhythm, the intonation, where we should be high, where we should be low. So all these things will be clear to you. Now let's have some knowledge about William C. Douglas. William C. Douglas was a judge of the Supreme Court of United States of America. Second, birth October 16, 1898, Minnesota, and death January 19, 1980, Washington. Third, he was best known for his consistent and outspoken defense of civil liberties. He is especially known for that he talks about the liberty of a common man. Next, he was a prolific writer. His books include Of Men and Mountains, that is in 1950, and A Wilderness Bill of Rights, 1965. Fifth, he visited India in 1950 to get the feel of the pulse of India, and the chapter is related to this point. Now we have a brief knowledge about William C. Douglas. Let's move towards the lesson. The name of the lesson is A Girl with a Basket. So here we will look at what is the story all about. The author William C. Douglas came to India in the year 1950. It means the period after the partition. We got freedom in the year 1947. So here we have 1950, he came to India. But for what? This is the question. And here we will find out the answer. He started his journey from Delhi to Bareilly by train, and then onwards by car. Actually, dear students, he had to go to Ranikhet. Now, he decided that he would travel by train from Delhi to Bareilly, and after that from Bareilly to Ranikhet by car. He alighted the train at every station. He talked to people who could speak English. He travelled by train, and at every station he got down the compartment, and the purpose of that, he wanted to talk to the people of India, those people who could speak English. He enjoyed natural beauty during his journey and saw richest fields, flooded areas, mud houses, and so on. Dear students, if you have ever travelled by train, you must have felt, you must have seen the scenic beauty, and you found out that sometime you found the village side, sometime you got the river. So in this way, the author felt the same thing, and he met a refugee girl. Here comes the content, the real content of the lesson. The main character, refugee girl of 9 years old, whose sense of self-respect and pride impressed him very much. I have just discussed it to you. He narrated the entire story to then Prime Minister of India, Mr. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So it was the lesson at a glance. We have got the idea of the lesson, what is all about it is, and now we will move towards the analysis. Dear students, if you read the paragraph, you will find out the main content of that particular paragraph. Here I have tried to have an analysis of that particular paragraph. So here we have paragraph 1 and 2, and if you read the paragraph, you will find these are the main points of that paragraphs. I have also provided to you the word meanings, but before that, here we have the analysis of the paragraph. So let's move with paragraph 1 and 2. What is the main content of paragraph 1 and 2? The author had left New Delhi. The paragraph starts from here. The author had left New Delhi for the Himalayas. He saw a vivid picture of the beautiful mountain. I told you that the author was traveling first by train and then after by car. So the description which has been given here is about his traveling by train. So he left New Delhi for the Himalayas, and he goes through Himalayas. What did he find there? That he just went to the Rani Khet, which is 6,000 feet above sea level, and he finds that there are snow-capped Himalayas. He enjoyed the beauty of Himalayas and he got very happy. He saw a vivid picture of the beautiful mountain. So here, dear children, you can imagine the scene of mountain. How does it look and what do you feel after that? Second, he reached Rani Khet, that was the old British Army hill station. Ultimate aim was to go to Rani Khet, and I must tell you, dear children, that Rani Khet is the beautiful place, and if you get the opportunity, you must go there. That was the old British Army hill station at that time, and he enjoyed the scenic beauty too much. He was quite impressed with the natural beauty of India too. The speed of the train was slow. It was a slow train, as it was written in a paragraph, and it was a quite leisurely train, as William C. Douglas has mentioned. That leisurely train means the train, it was a passenger train which stopped at every station. At every station he got down from the train. For what? To know the people from different community and occupations. As he was traveling, he got down the compartment at every station. He found out people who could speak English, and in this way he found the people from different communities, from Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus, and from different occupations, from hawker, beggar. So as you can imagine the scene of a station. So the same happened with the William C. Douglas, and he met people and he got the idea of the India in this way. He tried to know that. Now we will see. He talked about the world problems. What did he do? He discussed the problems, the affairs, world affairs, and contemporary issues. And in this way, he checked the people working in high offices and examined the reports regarding Indian society. He had some reports about Indian society. Here he was trying to check that it was really true or not. So he himself was examining the reports by talking these people. Fifth, actually the author wanted to know the feelings of Indian people, and I must tell you that he had a unique experience about Indian people when he talked to them. He came to know so much things related with the culture, community, and so on. Now we have some difficult words and meaning which will be useful for you if you read the paragraph yourself. Ridge, a mountain range. Stretch, stretch means spread. Swing open, pulled open. Barefoot, without shoes. To get the feel, to know the exact feelings. And official attitudes, way of thinking of the government. Once again, I am telling it to you in Hindi. Ridge means a mountain range. पर्वत का विस्तार क्षेत्र. Stretch means फैलाव. Swing open means खोलना. Barefoot means नंगे पाँव. To get the feel of the pulse of nation, लोगों की भावनाओं को, नब्ज को टटोलना. Official attitudes. So in this way he wanted to know about the people. So here we have the word meaning. Now if we discuss about the paragraph 1 and 2, what we can say that this paragraph shows the beginning of the paragraph. इस पैराग्राफ में जो लेखक हैं उन्होंने ये बताया कि उन्होंने अपनी यात्रा को शुरू किया, दिल्ली से शुरू की यात्रा और अंततः उनको रानीखेत पहुंचना था। इस यात्रा के दौरान उन्होंने बहुत सारे सुंदर दृश्यों को, पहाड़ के दृश्यों को देखा जिससे वो बहुत प्रभावित हुए। इस यात्रा को उन्होंने पैसेंजर ट्रेन से जो हर एक स्टेशन पर रुकती थी और इस तरह से वो भी हर एक स्टेशन पर उतर के लोगों से बातें किया करते थे जो अंग्रेज़ी बोलने में सक्षम थे। उन लोगों से बातें करते हुए उन्होंने ये जाना कि उन लोगों का विचार क्या है सरकारी नीतियों के प्रति और उनकी संस्कृति के बारे में भी जानना चाहा। नाउ वी कम टू द पैराग्राफ 3rd. The author described one of the richest agricultural areas while traveling. He describes the richest agricultural areas. Richest agricultural areas here means the most fertile area of India. So he depicts the flooded Ganga river covering thousands of areas of rice. He started traveling at that time when the area was full of paddy, and the unfortunate thing is that he started his journey at that time when the river Ganga was in flood. So he could not enjoy that kind of beauty which we usually have. 3rd, he saw jungles where grasses were higher than man's head. Different animals described beautifully the horizon. Now you must have curiosity to know about the horizon. Here you have a picture that can make you clear where earth and the sky appear to meet. It means here it is quite apparent to you that it is the place where you find that sky and the earth is just meeting. So here we have the concept of horizon and he describes it so beautifully. Dear students, have you ever traveled by train? You must have found, if you have traveled, then you must have found that you have this kind of scene. This kind of scene you can see as usual also. Whenever you want to look at that, you can feel it, and the author is quite impressed with the scenic beauty of India. इस चैप्टर में अगर हम पैराग्राफ 3rd की बात करें तो ऑथर जो लेखक हैं वो इस समय इंडिया के जब वो यात्रा कर रहे थे तो उन्होंने इंडिया के रिचेस्ट एग्रीकल्चरल एरिया मतलब कि सबसे उपजाऊ कृषि भूमि क्षेत्र को उन्होंने देखा। उन्होंने गंगा को जो कि पूरी तरह से बाढ़ प्रभावित थी उस जगह के एरिया को, वहाँ की धान की फसलों को देखा। उन्होंने जंगल देखे और वहाँ पे घास देखे जो एक इंसान की ऊंचाई से भी ज़्यादा थे, और इसके साथ ही साथ उन्होंने जंगल में डिफरेंट एनिमल्स, बहुत तरह के जानवर जैसे कि अजगर और कोबरा, मंकी, इस तरह के जानवरों को, बंदरों को, हाथियों को उन्होंने देखा। और इस तरह से उन्होंने फाइनली होराइजन को यानी कि क्षितिज को बहुत अच्छे से परिभाषित किया, उसकी ब्यूटी को बताया। नाउ लेट्स मूव। He talked about sacred banyan tree and pakar tree. Dear students, quite important this fact is that he mentioned sacred banyan tree. It means he was quite aware of the culture of India, that we worship banyan tree. This fact was known to him. So it's a matter of pride for us that he had a very close observation over the Indian culture, being a foreigner. So, and pakar trees. 5th, he saw mud houses made of water and cow dung. The roofs were made by bundles of grass and bamboo poles. He also found pumpkin vines there. As you see in this picture, and you must have seen this kind of picture, I am quite sure you find it in our villages. that this is the mud wall which is mixed with cow dung and the water. So the mixture of that they just prepare it from cow dung and water. Now you have seen this thatched bamboo poles. In this way it is thatched, it is prepared, and it was quite impressive for the author. Now what did he find? That there were pumpkin vines over there against the drab walls, and he was very much impressed when he looked at that. इस पैराग्राफ में उन्होंने पवित्र बरगद के पेड़ की बात की, पाकड़ के वृक्ष की बात की। बच्चों, आपको ये ज़रूर मैं बताना चाहूँगी कि उन्होंने बैनियन बरगद के पेड़ को पवित्र बरगद के पेड़ कहकर संबोधित किया। इसका मतलब है कि वो हमारे कल्चर से, हमारी संस्कृति से भली भांति अवगत थे। दूसरी बात जो है वो उन्होंने मड हाउसेस, जो कि यूजुअली हम विलेजेस में देखते हैं, गाँव में देखते हैं, ऑथर ने उसको बहुत ही अच्छे से, लेखक ने उसको बहुत ही अच्छे से उसका वर्णन किया है कि इस तरह के मुझे रास्ते में मड हाउसेस देखने को मिले जो कि गोबर और पानी के मिश्रण से बनाए जाते थे, और उस पे उनकी छतों पे जो बांस के पोल पे बनाए जाते थे उनके छत, उस पे उन्होंने बेल को देखा। इस तरह से आगे बढ़ते हैं। Move towards the word meaning. Brown silt, loose sand and soil. Swollen, overflowing. Inundating, covering. Clump, group. Horizon, a place where the sky and earth appear to meet. Trunk, the main body of the tree. Humid, full of moisture. Clinging, holding tightly. Thatched, covered with. Rafters, sloping beams. Trailing, moved behind on the ground. And drab means uninteresting or a dull light brown color. Brown silt, there were some sand and soil, बालू और मिट्टी का मिश्रण. Swollen means overflowing, बहाव, अतिरिक्त बहाव. Inundating means covering, means क्षेत्र का ढके हुए. Clump means समूह. Horizon means क्षितिज. Trunk means दो पेड़ का मेन पार्ट, मेन भाग. Humid means आर्द्र हवा. Clinging कस के पकड़ना. Thatched मतलब छाजन. Rafters, sloping beams, बैम्बू के पोल से जो उनकी छतें बनाई गई. Trailing मतलब कि रेंगते हुए. और drab means होता है बहुत हल्के ब्राउन कलर. Now come to the paragraph 4 and 5. This process of conversation is stopped at one station. Dear children, as I told you that every station he got on the compartment, and this happened here too. His process of conversation, he used to talk to people, but what happened here, that this at one of the station, this process was interrupted. How? We will see here. As soon as the author got down his compartment, a group of little children surrounded him to sell their handmade baskets. The interruption was due to the children, the small children, the little children, and they were quite poor, and they were selling handmade baskets. As soon as he alighted the train, they encircled the author. Why? Because they thought he was the most promising market for them, and the author could not understand their language, but their expressions made it clear that they wanted to sell their baskets. The author could not understand the language. The reason behind that is they were Indian or they had come from Pakistan, so they couldn't speak English. So it was difficult for the author to understand, but the expression were quite clear that they wanted to sell their articles. Now, those were refugee children who came India after partition in 1947. I have told you that there was the partition. At that time many people came from Pakistan to India to settle here, and they were called refugees between India and Pakistan. Now a large number of people left Pakistan and came to settle in India. They became poorer and having little bit of food. Their condition was quite miserable, dear students, as we have discussed in the objectives that after effects of partition is beautifully shown here. So he has described that they were quite poor people and their condition got too miserable as they moved ahead. They were hungry, tired and weak. Some of them fell by the wayside and died. On their way, some of them got tired or due to hunger they died too. इस पैराग्राफ में जब हम देखते हैं, पैराग्राफ 4th and 5th की बात करते हैं, तो इसमें जो लेखक हैं वो हर एक स्टेशन पे, जैसा कि आपको बताया गया, हर एक स्टेशन पे उतरते थे और लोगों से बातें करते थे। ये बातचीत का सिलसिला एक स्टेशन पर रुका। क्यों रुका? क्योंकि जैसे ही लेखक एक स्टेशन पे उतरे, कुछ बच्चों के समूह ने, छोटे बच्चों के समूह ने उनको घेर लिया। वे बच्चे अपने हाथ में कुछ हाथ से निर्मित, हस्त निर्मित सामानों को लिए हुए थे, टोकरी लिए हुए थे, जो वो उस लेखक को बेचना चाह रहे थे, क्योंकि उन्हें लगा कि वो लेखक उनके सामान को खरीद सकता है। और the author could not understand their language but their expressions made it clear. लेखक को अंग्रेजी भाषा समझ में आती थी, इन बच्चों की भाषा वो समझने में सक्षम नहीं थे, परंतु उनके एक्सप्रेशन से, उनके भावों को देखकर ऐसा लगता था कि बच्चे अपने सामान को लेखक को बेचना चाह रहे हैं। Those were refugee children, ये शरणार्थी बच्चे थे जो पार्टीशन के बाद 1947 के बाद 1947 के बाद भारत में आकर के बसे। इनकी कंडीशन बहुत ही दुखदाई थी, जैसा कि यहाँ पर लेखक ने बताया है। अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल, बहुत सारे लोग पाकिस्तान छोड़ करके आए और वो और भी ज़्यादा रास्ते में गरीब होते गए। वो भूख से थके हुए और बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग रास्ते में ही उनकी मृत्यु हो गई। Here we have word meaning. Refugee, a person who has been forced to flee in order to escape war or persecution. Got down, alighted, got down, reed, to hollow stem of tall stiff grass. Decreed, ordered, religious fanaticism, obsessive enthusiasm related to religion, belongings, baggage. So here we have word meaning. Refugee को शरणार्थी, alighted means उतरना, reed एक खोखली तने घास की, और डिक्रीड मीन्स डिक्लेयर करना या आदेश देना, रिलीजियस फैन धार्मिक उन्माद, बिलोंगिंग्स मीन्स सामान। हियर वी हैव फॉर्मेट ऑफ एक्सप्लेनेशन। These were poor people. If you have got this paragraph, you can mention it first of all reference, where you can write these lines have been taken from the lesson A Girl with a Basket, written by William C. Douglas. Now context, you have to mention the main content of that particular paragraph. Here the author describes the miserable condition of refugees. Explanation, as I have explained it to you, you can write in this manner. You can add comments too about the language, about the content, whatever you can write you can. So here in this way you can write the explanation. Here we have questions for exercise. Where was the writer going? How did travel? The writer was going to Ranikhet. At first he travelled by train from Delhi to Bareilly, and after that by car to Ranikhet. What did the writer do to get a feel of the pulse of the nation? He alighted the compartment and used to talk to people who would speak English. In this way he wanted to know about the people. Describe the things and scenes the writer see on his way. The writer saw mountains, snow-capped mountains, mud houses and jungles, the different animals. Why did the refugee children descend like locusts on the writer? The refugee children descended like locusts on the writer because they thought that the writer is the most promising mark for them. Now it's time for homework section. How was the author's routine of talking interrupted? First, we have discussed it. What did the refugee children sell and why? Use the following expressions in the sentence of your own. First, to get a feel of pulse of, and the second is to catch a ring, a heart. So sometimes you find this kind of question too in your question paper, so you have to solve it. Dear children, that's all for today. This was the part 1. Again I will meet and start studying the second part of this chapter. Till then, have a great time. Thank you very much.